start. All right, Donna, I just wanted to ask you a couple questions about your experience with HBA. So, first question I had was, how has your perspective on managing stress and burnout changed since doing HBA now?
I would say that before doing HBA and like dealing with raw dogging the stress, if you will, I felt like I was
Be real.
always like right there at that edge.
Hmm.
And so using the lifelines and listening to the daily brain zaps, I feel like gave me the awareness. So I feel like I was more aware of the need to prioritize stress management. So I would go into work or go into the day just thinking, okay, what can I do to, have the least amount of stress
Yeah.
today? Or maybe not, because you can't always control what stresses come your way, but like, what can I do to minimize how it affects
Yeah.
me today? So I don't know if that answers your question, but
It does. Have you taken more of a like proactive approach now versus like being very
yeah, I would
reactive
say
to
so.
win? Okay.
Yeah, extremely reactive in in the last, 30 years.
Be
But now
real.
I was gonna say like a couple months before, but like no, even before that, and then before that. So,
I
but
mean,
we're here now.
I
But
mean, I
it's
mean,
like,
same.
hey, I think one of the things that really stuck with me is like, how do you? Can you hear that?
No.
Okay, I need to close my work email tab now that we're here. Um, I think that what one of the things that stuck with me was like um how to feel yourself getting to a threshold before you're at the max capacity threshold and before
Yeah.
you snap at somebody or whatever. So it's just for me it was about, okay, I feel myself getting there and what can I do now?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, the noticing of like your personal limit and again, like taking
It's
that more.
hard.
It
It's
is.
hard.
It is. What actually motivated you to hop into HBA? What was the thing that outside of me?
Yeah.
What motivated
Um,
we
so
know each other. We've known
yeah,
each
it's
other
funny
for a
because I was
while.
telling my sister, because I've been talking to her about it a lot, and
Yeah.
I was telling her just, well, first of all, at a certain point, you just get sick of feeling like that all the time. You get sick of, feeling like shit every day.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, what can I do? I'm going to therapy. That's doing
Mhm.
something, but I need a practical thing. And I think that your program, when people talk about, I need to feel my feelings, but I have no idea how. I need to, regulate my nervous system, but like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Um, your program really gave like, here's a thing. Look at this video of puppies and see what that does. You know what I mean?
See we
Like, you
feel.
don't
See
think
we
of that
feel.
type of stuff. You don't
Yeah.
think of that type of stuff. So I think that the practical things, like, I wasn't getting someone telling me, here's what to do at work when you're pissed and you want to quit,
Yeah.
you know, because you
Yeah.
can't quit. So,
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I have a therapist actually in for round two, and I've been sending her a lot of the stuff that was sent in this month. And she's giving me real-time feedback after everything that is sent to
I
her.
didn't know that.
And the feedback she keeps giving me is like, oh, this like parallels with this technique and this theory and therapy, but then you have like a follow-up tool with it, like really, really helpful. So totally agree with that. Like the goal with HBA was yes, it goes great alongside therapy, but
Yeah.
how do we actually like therapy is once a week, once every couple weeks for an hour. What can you be doing in between? So I know you're busy. I know you have a lot going on. Did you find that the structure and the layout and the deliverability of HBA was helpful for you to actually follow through with it and complete it? Was it easy to participate in?
Yeah, I would say that, the consistency at the time that you sent the brain zaps every day was like, okay, 6:30. Now I started to build a routine around it and
I
I
love
could
that.
listen to it while I was like getting ready or like sometimes in the car on my way to work. And just knowing that I have it in my phone, I could do it whenever I needed to. And then I love being able to text about the lifelines.
Yeah.
So it was super easy Because like
Yeah.
you always have your phone with you,
Yeah.
you know.
Delivered right into the palm of your hand. That actually tees into my next question was what was your impression or um opinion on the Lifeline feature of the program?
I think that might be my favorite part of
Yeah.
it. I feel like the brains apps were more like, okay, here's the thing that you a lot of
Here's
them
what you
funny.
need to hear.
Yeah. It's not something you need to hear that you wouldn't say to yourself because you don't know, like, here's what you need to hear.
Yeah.
But I didn't always text them when I was like in a crisis because I feel like, okay, I don't want to feel like I have to be in a crisis in order to access these lifelines.
Hmm.
I want to see, and I feel like I saw myself like exploring different techniques with the lifelines, less so using them in a SOS situation. So then I could say, okay, pushing hard against the wall, that's something I can do. You know,
Yeah.
chugging water, I can do that. I
Yeah.
can always pause and put headphones in, but later I can. Like that's
Yeah.
something I look forward to later. So I liked that it was a lot of different things you could try. Some things might not work for you. Some things you might, keep with you.
Yeah.
So I like the variety of the
The
lifelines.
lifelines. Yeah. The goal with having the 40 different ones available is exactly to your point. I want each of you guys to be able to build what your toolbox is. And that toolbox is going to have four or five that every time
Yeah.
you do them, you feel better and you can just have them available. So totally agree. And I'm actually jazzing up a couple of the ones that I feel like were underutilized for next round. So you'll have an opportunity to just experience more tools, see what works, see what doesn't work. So, and really last question I have is, I've talked to a lot of people that are very hesitant, very on the fence, very like, I've done programs before, I've worked with a coach before, I've had a bad experience. Sounds good, but I don't want to do it. So, for those people, if they are listening to this, is there any advice or wisdom or just nudge that you would want them to hear from you?
Yeah, I feel like I said earlier, at a certain point, you just have to be sick of your own shit. You know what I mean? Like, sick of your own lack of action, I guess I would say. So if you want to dip your toe in and really take a tiny baby step towards your own wellness, I feel like this is a great program for that. And then you just take the next baby step, and then you just take the next baby step. So I think that the ease of this program made it super. I didn't have to go anywhere. I didn't have to,
Download, log
write
in.
anything down. I didn't,
Yeah.
there was a day that I went to a coffee shop and I think I listened to a couple of them at the same time and like kind of journaled around it. But
Yeah.
that's up to you how much you want to do. If you just want to see what it could feel like to feel better, I
Yeah.
think this is a great program for that. And I was telling my sister um, about it. Like I think we talked about that, and I'm trying to get her to do at least one of the programs. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be this one, but just because every day you're at your max, that's exhausting.
Yeah.
So just to bring it down a little bit, you can feel the effects of it.
Yeah. And I mean, and I always look at it from the perspective of like every day that we're at our max or every day that we're at that edge and continuously jumping over, less of the like, what are the actions that that's creating here in the present? Oh, I'm stress eating, I'm snapping at my husband, I'm slacking off on work, but more long term internally, what is that doing to your health from like a chronic
Yeah.
long term health standpoint? I think I always look at it from that perspective. Like when we zoom out, like if you're not tired of your shit enough here in the present, but you've got a lot of unmanaged stress and overwhelm, everything you're experiencing right now is painting the exact picture of what your health will be 5 years from now. So I always look at it through that lens of like anything that I can do now, even if I don't always feel like it's giving me something back, it is setting the foundation 5 to 10 years from now. And, you know,
Yeah.
that's important. So,
I also think that the way that you present things makes it so, I don't know, digestible, like so
yeah.
understandable. Like you don't have to know neuroscience to understand what's going on. Um, and you also use yourself, like you have been through these things, you have used these tools, and you can speak to the impact that is that on you.
Yeah.
You can say, like, you're not pretending to be a perfect model of what we see on Instagram or on social media or whatever. you're like, today it fucking sucked for me, and I
Here's the
want
tools that I used.
to feel better now. The thing is still going on. That is, terrible, but I'm not comatose on the couch now because of it.
Yeah,
That I feel like speaks to people who may be on the couch when they're reading that.
yeah,
So
100%.
I think that's what got me up off the couch. Your emails are very direct and they're very, you cannot argue with them. You cannot
My
argue.
flavor is spicy.
I think my sister said, she's like, I think you might have sent her something that said, I don't know if you sent it to a bunch of people. It was like, thanks for watching my story every single day. Here's what you have to hear, here's what
I sent a bunch of people a free. She was one of them. Yeah,
yeah,
I probably sent like 60 people that I just feel like I haven't had the chance to interact with
yeah,
often. Like I'm like they're here every day, but like let's open up the conversation. But I wanted to send them something, so I sent her and like 50 other people a training that I did on self-sabotage, and it's actually the training on self-sabotage that was part of the mindset huddle program. So I took a fragment of that and just put it in its own little resource, attached a podcast episode that also kind of pairs nicely with that. And then the third page, I think one of the sheets is like a simple worksheet that they can work through themselves. And I was just like, hey, like no strings attached, here you go. But yeah, I did
but
that.
that type of thing really catches you to say, okay, I'm sick of this. Let
Yeah,
me just,
yeah,
so
for sure.
I enjoyed it and I can't wait for the second one.
I
So
know. I'm so excited. I'm over here like sad that we're like in this weird in between, but also like given
yeah,
the thing
but
going
this
on.
is time for us to really like try it, on our own. And it's
Yeah,
not inaccessible.
true. That's why the December support group is where it is. So well, I appreciate you. Thank you so, so much.
Yeah, thank you.